presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Eddie in Boca Raton. Hey, Eddie, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, man. Yourself?
Good. It is a treasure to have TFNN every hour during the trading day, to be there to help you, to guide you, and even to give you some peace of mind, or like that somebody else is there with you while you're trading this crazy market, either up or down.
Well, listen, we appreciate you growling and prowling with us out here, because we wouldn't be out here, folks, if we didn't have all you guys, gals, tigers and tigresses as clients. And, you know, the market teaches you every single day, man.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is, of course, the Tom O'Brien Show. We have a lot in store for you today. We have Basil Chapman on in the second segment. Really looking forward to that. And then, of course, our man Tim Ord of the Ord Oracle will be joining us in the third and fourth segment. Let's take a look at what we got going on today. Quite a bit. Obviously, I just saw something in the YouTube chat, which, by the way, if you are listening to us on YouTube, we are happy you're with us. If you're there and you haven't done so already, please give this stream a like and give us a subscribe. It helps us all out immensely. For the people in the Discord den, what's going on, and then all of you on Twitch. Still trying to figure out what to do with you over there, but we're happy you're here with us as well. I saw in the chat, the day DJT is Trump Media. Wow, look at that. Off 8% right now. This had skyrocketed. So a lot of the market had been kind of anticipating. I think it was pretty even, but if you look at some of the betting websites, like Kalshi and the like, they were a little bit geared towards Kamala winning. Then it started shifting a little bit to Trump winning, and this stock in particular is totally predicated just on whether Trump wins, right? I mean, it's kind of useless now in the sense that Musk has Twitter, or now it's called X, and that kind of addresses the problems that led to the creation of the Trump media. But regardless, people get bullish on it when they were just bullish on Trump in general. It had seen some pretty high volume to the upside in recent times. Starting at a low right here of 1175, all the way up to a high today of roughly like 3361. We're off 7.5% today, off 8% as it stands now. Just quite a move to the downside. Probably people try to take profits, I would say, because this is kind of just a toxic equity to be in. And it really doesn't move hyper logically, except for what we were just talking about. If there's good news for Trump, it moves. Let's look at everything else going on. The composite off about 1.21%. Yeah, the Dow Jones Industrial off about 0.74%. That dollar is still up in the higher range, that counter trend bounce. We're a little bit sideways right now, but settling pretty sweetly above that 103 level, trading at 103.24 now. Crude. Okay, you're coming off a pretty big rally to the upside, especially after some, being pretty low here for a little while. Okay, you're off about 3.81%, trading at 71.02 on the futures contract. A lot of this fear, which was driving oil prices up, was of course tensions being built between Israel and really Iran and their kind of proxy entities. It seems that Israel is not going to take any significant action against Iran in the near future. They said that they reserve the right to decide how they're going to do it without any kind of U.S. intervention or meddling, I suppose. That in and of itself, it is not necessarily, great, I would say, because I do think the U.S. Does try to keep kind of an order, I think, globally in some capacity. So you have two large states deciding what they're going to do between each other. That can get a little bit hairy. But it seems like even if they do attack Iran, they're not going to attack oil infrastructure or energy infrastructure at all, just focus on military targets. So you're seeing that kind of dump off from that. Again, you still have some upward pressure in crude or just energy in general, really, with China having some economic situations. This I thought was really interesting. This is from Bloomberg. So this spike actually kicked off a massive hedging event by the producers. Okay, so we can take a look at this here. Positioning data indicates that hedging trades jumped when U.S. crude futures surged more than $10 a barrel in a week to start off October. Obviously, they use swaps and options and all that. The most recent surge in hedging came as the U.S. crude futures jumped to 78 a barrel in just a few weeks. Looking at the Brent, at least off about 3.52%. That kind of tells me when they're locking in prices at that high level, you know, around 78, that these producers don't anticipate it being, you know, much higher than that going forward. There is a bearish, you know, outlook globally for energy. You had OPEC cutting 2024 and 2025 global oil demand growth views. We can take a little look at that. So the weaker outlook highlights the dilemma faced by OPEC Plus, which, you know, we all know what OPEC Plus is. On Monday, OPEC in a monthly report said the world demand will rise by 1.93 million barrels per day, and that's down from the growth of 2.03 million barrels per day it expected last month. China accounted for the bulk of the downgrade. So, you know, obviously China is an interesting situation right now, right? There's not really a lot of countries its size that have the same kind of government intervention that they do. So we'll kind of see what happens like that. But I do think people locking in, you know, prices at that level to produce and sell at it, you know, that can kind of indicate what the producers are thinking about the price going forward. You have the E-mini. Let's take a look, off about 0.85%. And gold actually not doing too bad today. We are going to have Tim Ord on. I know we all look forward to his at least analysis on the GDX and the miners that comprise that. But we're trading right now at 2,682. Again, a lot of bump in gold was coming from China. You know, they're having deflationary issues going on right there, but it still seems like they are buying a little bit. They have, at least the country as an entity has halted that, but the consumers over there continue to like that investment. You have copper off about 1.43%, NQs off about 1.64%, and then silver up about 1.35%, trading at 31.74. Okay, Celsius, we saw yesterday, had kind of a random bump up. And I was kind of curious what that was because I didn't see any news. It seemed like, let me see if I can get the exact numbers, but it was mainly actually just one kind of analyst firm that liked it. It seemed like they were still pretty dominant among teenage energy drinkers, which is pretty solid. So I think 35% of that demographic they capture, which is positive for the long term, but certainly a massive move to the upside in Celsius that seemed to be really just kind of one entity doing that as opposed to any larger news, at least fundamentally speaking. All right, and then I want to take a look quickly at HIMS, because we were discussing that, and I said, you know, maybe we should buy the dip. I personally did on that kind of come down, trading up 10.89% today. We're going to talk a little bit about that when we get back. Of course, we're going to have Basil on, so we might need to wait a little bit later in the show. But stay right there. We're going to have Basil Chapman on next.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to most people. They think it's too volatile and risky. Most people aren't going to take the time to educate themselves on how to do it right. But you're not most people, are you? At TFNN, you'll get the guidance you need to refine your strategies and techniques to invest like a pro. Because you'll be a pro. All TFNN subscriptions, books, software, and courses are available at TFNN.com. And I'm even going to tell you how to get them for less. Use TFNN's Tiger Dollars and you'll get up to a 20% bonus on your purchase. And once you apply them to your account, Tiger Dollars are automatically used for all future or recurring charges. Tiger Dollars also never expire, are fully transferable, and are a great way to add savings to your newsletters or services. Become the investor you were born to be at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is the Tom O'Brien Show. Now, I want you to take a look over here at the screen on my right-hand side. Every Tuesday, we are joined by Basil Chapman. Now, Basil Chapman is a host here at TFNN. He has his show on at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right there on our YouTube channel and in the Den and on Twitch now. Fantastic show. And additionally, he has a newsletter. This is the opening call newsletter by Basil Chapman. Now, one of the things I really like about this newsletter is you get your daily uploads, right? You get your daily newsletter. It kind of talks about what we're looking at, the portfolio that exists. But one of the things that I think really sets this newsletter apart is that every Friday you have the Overview Friday. And this is where Basil, he has a video for all subscribers and he kind of goes over everything that's happening during the week, maybe a setup for the next week. Additionally, if you're a subscriber to the opening call newsletter, you get access to a trove of recorded live educational streams, or webinars we call them. The most recent one was July 23rd, 4 o'clock to 5:30 Eastern Time. It is sectors and stocks to focus on in this next phase of the market cycle. And Basil just has a really good eye for seeing how things move in this market. So Basil, how are you doing? You know, we have NVIDIA down a little bit. You have some of the semiconductors on the way up because of the CHIPS Act. You have ASML down, of course. A lot of interesting stuff going on today.
Let me go through, thank you very much for the introduction.
Absolutely.
Let me go through a couple of things. First of all, the Dow today made an all-time high at 43,277. So we've been along the Dow at various points. We've been along since March of 2020. We still have that core position. We've taken a little bit off. We've got the core. Then we're also along the Dow from the low of October of 2023. We're also looking at the Dow that we've got a shorter-term position, and that position has taken us from the August low to where we the high of today. It's about a 36% gain on that position.
Yeah.
So that's the one thing. Now the other is, so where are we now? You can see from the left side chart, the technicals that I used, the 9-period moving average is still way over the 14. The MACD is good. The stochastic's good at 87%. I love it when it's over 80%, but especially when it's in 87 to 93%. That's really good. And the on-balance volume is looking very good. A relative strength, a little gray line has turned down. If you look at the weekly charts, they're still very strong. And the technique that I use, called the Chapman Wave Inside Track Repellent Zone, we've gone above that out of the last 5 weeks. This week, we've gone above it for the first time without touching the green line, which is the breakout line. And that line right now says that if there is on the weekly chart, if there's a close below 42,500, then we might come back into underneath that what was resistance became support. We'll watch that closely. So that's one thing. The other is I like for subscribers, I like to have a whole variety of positions in different price ranges, almost like going to a store to see what you can afford. And within that context, I also like to have all these different sectors. So I thought it'd be appropriate just to go through a whole bunch of some of the positions we have. For instance, we've had AIQ. This is the artificial intelligence ETF. We've had it for quite some time, and we've had it from the 28th, and today the high was 38.19, all-time high, and is pulling back quite sharply intraday from the gap down from yesterday's high. So that's one of the positions we've had, and that's up about 26%. Bank of America, so that's in the artificial intelligence. In Bank of America, I wanted something in the financials. So we've had Bank of America for quite some time. We've had it from the 31s. And today, BAC had earnings report, a pretty good report. Oops, why is it not coming up? Let me just type it in. There it is, BAC. BAC is Bank of America. Oh, there, it's in front of me. It gapped up. It's in leg C, so it should still go higher. It's at a recovery high. The all-time high was back at 50.11 in February of 2022. It came slumping down to 24, got cut in half, and then it comes running back. So 24.96 was the low in October of last year. We're in it from 28, and here it is at 42. It hit 43 today. So that also is a very nice gain. That's about a 38% gain. So that's in the financials. Mm-hmm. And then we actually, at the August low, we bought the IWM, the Russell 2000 small caps. It's been tough, but my belief was that at some point there will be a recognition that the small caps are part of the market, right, and they really have to start moving up. So we've had a very nice gain, and we're in from the 203 level back in the August low, and 224.95 was the high back in September. It pulled back, made a cup formation, and this arch formation said that we were anticipating there was a chance it could retest that high. So today it went to 225.50. So that's another nice gain with that. And we actually added an aggressive long a few days ago. So this is acting quite nicely. And it's really important. I want to see a broadening of this market. I'd like to see the small caps. I'd like to see the KRE, which is the regional banks, start to move higher. They've actually just started participating and independently like that. Oops. Okay, there it goes. You can see it made a new recovery high. It's actually a multi-year high today, the KRE. So these are areas that I think we could rotate and see start to move. Then I wanted something in the, here we go, Robinhood is a stock that's in the broker area.
Oh, yeah.
We waited, and just the day after the August low, we bought this, and that one is up also very nicely. I must just check. I think it's up about 68% from where we got it. We got it in the 16s today. It hit 27.33, and it's a leg D. I just wanted to mention something since you were talking about what's the symbol for the Donald Trump one?
DJT.
DJT.
Yep.
So here's your leg D. So a peak D in the Chapman methodology says you've got to be a little careful because that's where other things can happen. Look at this, leg D.
Yep.
Whoosh. Made a high today of 33.85, and now it's trading down to 26.39 area. So just as a purely technical thing, I thought I'd mention. And then we've still got our Microsoft from the 338 round number low. We bought it at a little while back, and it rallied all the way to the 440s. We've taken quite a bit off, and we've got a core position, and it's trading now at about 417. So it's done very nicely. So I just wanted to mention that, in the portfolio itself, we like to go into all different areas. You had mentioned the ad itself mentions uranium. We had fabulous gains in uranium some time ago. Took everything off, and we got a brand new position. And yes, UEC, this is Uranium Energy Core. So we've also had a very nice gain, about a 16% gain in the newest position. But this is interesting because you see these two lines, this green and red line in the weekly chart. That's what I call the Chapman Wave Inside Track resistance repellent zone.
Okay.
Well, now we've broken above it. That means there's a chance that uranium could start to move with higher highs and higher lows in the next few months. So that's what I'm anticipating.
No, and there's more news coming out today even about that I would say are bullish for uranium. Basil, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. for the Tiger Technicians Hour.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Have a good day.
Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back with Tim Ord of the Ord Oracle after this break.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
The consistency you're looking for is closer than you think. 1 or 2 adjustments are usually all you need to change your equity curve from red to green and keep it there. Come join Larry Pesavento live to learn what separates the winners from the losers. Join Larry Pesavento on the 2nd and 4th Friday of every month for 3 hours of live trading from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where Larry will show you the market setting up and, most important of all, the state of mind of a winning trader. By watching Larry trade, you'll learn the Fibonacci levels, you'll learn how to apply A to B to C to D trading patterns, you'll learn trade management, pattern recognition, and much more. Join Larry October 11th and 25th for more live trading action. Your purchase goes towards 2 sessions, so make sure to sign up now so you don't miss a chance to sit next to Larry as he trades the market live. For all information and reserve your spot today, go to the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, everyone. This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. This is, of course, the Tom O'Brien Show. We were just joined by Basil Chapman. That is the author of the Opening Call newsletter. Of course, he has the Tiger Technicians Hour at 10 a.m. Eastern Time right here on Tiger Financial News Network. Now, every Tuesday and Thursday, Tom has a fantastic guest on. That is Tim Ord of the Ord Oracle. That website is ord-oracle.com. We have come to greatly appreciate his analysis on the general market and then also his analysis on the gold miners. We are joined right now by Tim Ord. Tim, how are you doing? We're going to work on getting Tim. I know that our producer is hard at work getting him on right now, but let's take a look quickly just at HIMS before we get that all situated. Give me one moment here. All right, so taking a look at HIMS, okay, the big news, of course, is that, well, one, there was a major dip, right? Major dip on some kind of bad news. They're not, doing that. Oh, looks like we're kind of losing him right now. Get that Skype news. Sorry about that, folks. Long story short, they had Eli Lilly, essentially, their drug was off the market due to supply issues. HIMS was compounding it. Essentially turns out, right, that what HIMS was compounding was not what Eli Lilly's drug was. They were doing Capacitide, where Eli Lilly has the semaglutide. Regardless, him and hers, it seems that the FDA is reconsidering its limit on compounded weight loss drugs or custom-made medications that combine a mix of certain ingredients. This is really what HIMS and hers is going to do. Additionally, HIMS and hers is able to compound these drugs, even if they're off the FDA kind of essentially supply list, as long as it is designed on an individual basis. That is massive for HIMS and hers, okay? It's up 9.9% right now. I bought on this dip down, it popped up. That big gap up, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get out of this because that's just a little too volatile for my liking a little bit. This at this point is certainly a little bit volatile, I would say. I think at this level, you have kind of this movement gap up on some high volume, some kind of low volume to the downside here. You have that sell off and then a nice big piece of volume to the upside. And now we're sucking some volume down today as well. I could definitely see a pullback at this level. I do like HIMS on the long term, but when things get so volatile like this, you gotta be a little bit careful, especially when there's like an over exuberance, I would say, in the market. Additionally, while we're waiting for Tim Ord to get all situated here, Basil was talking a little bit about UEC. One second, which is Uranium Energy Corporation. Again, if you haven't checked out that newsletter, I really recommend it. He does a really good job of building a nice portfolio. You keep for a while, and it obviously does very well. He was sharing with us some of his gains he had, but UEC has done it pretty well as well. I was looking earlier today. You had Google. They're inking a new nuclear deal for the next generation reactors. These guys are going to be using SMRs. You can place these things kind of wherever you want, move them around. It's pretty fantastic. So that's some great news. Again, bullish on uranium. But then I saw this. Now, if you want this PDF or this article rather, send me an email at jacob@tfnn after the show, because it's kind of outlining an attempt to basically commercialize nuclear, right? This is one of the big things you hear from everyone, which is, it's too much of a waste of money, it's not economically feasible, which I would say is not always, and this is kind of a side note, right? Might not always be the best way to look at stuff, especially when you're talking about things like on a civilizational level like this, because things, usually end up working themselves out. I mean, I would say the moon landing wasn't necessarily economically feasible, right? But it matters for kind of deeper reasons that also do impact the society going down and certainly the economics. But this is the Advanced Nuclear Commercial Liftoff. This is from energy.gov. And it seems like there's a pretty strong consideration for utilizing nuclear far more in the future. It says here in 2022, utilities were shutting down nuclear reactors. In 24, they are extending reactor operations to 80 years, planning to uprate capacity and restarting formerly closed. It says here that nuclear provides a differentiated value proposition for a decarbonized grid, which again, of course, I'll say, right? Like, obviously it kind of makes, I would say, basic economic sense in the short term to just keep using, essentially combustion using oil in order to get combustion and kind of generate power. Whether that's in cars, whether that's on our power grid. But when you have so much money, and this is one of my defenses for kind of investing or looking into some of these things like EVs or like nuclear that might not be readily utilized right now, but is being looked at, is that you have so much support from government agencies, and now you're seeing it, on the enterprise side with things like Google, like Microsoft, So anyways, you take a look here. This is a really interesting kind of article on this whole thing. This is interesting generation transmission costs with and without nuclear. So they're trying to make kind of this attempt to really push this as a viable opportunity. So we'll see what happens. If you want this, let me know. You should take some time to read through this because I think there is a massive opportunity. I mean this on the long term. I know we have a lot of older listeners and stuff like that. If you got stuff working, for your grandkids or your kids, this is a sector that I believe, without a doubt, has strength going forward. Take a look at CCJ as well. You have Cameco Corp, right? So we were looking at Cameco Corp, really at the lows. We hopped on here about 35, 43. I think it was actually at this time in September, we were taking a pretty tough look at it. And these guys produce a ton of uranium. I think they're the second largest under Kazakhstan. And look where we're trading now, that 51.46. And we've made a pretty solid floor over the past few sessions here, right at that $50 area. And this is some decent volume that you're getting from Cameco, which you weren't really prior. So these are fantastic ideas. And this is to say as well, I talk about this stuff, but then also you have some newsletters out there in the likes of the opening call that do a fantastic job. All right. Perfect. I just got your email, you who sent it to me. I will send that to you after the show for sure. All right, let's take a look here at NVIDIA. Because you have some interesting stuff going on, right? You have Wolfspeed popping up today quite a bit because of some potential investment or money from the CHIPS Act. And then you have some issues, supposedly, as the US is eyeing an AI export limit, which this creates, pretty big issue. Let's take a look here right now. You're off about 5.17%. I would also like to say, let's talk about this a little bit, okay? So you're down about 5% right now. The drop occurred following a report that the US could cap the sales of advanced artificial intelligence chips from the US-based chip makers to certain countries. The Biden administration officials in recent weeks have discussed putting a ceiling on export licenses for advanced AI chips, including those from NVIDIA and rival AMD, to countries in the Middle East, citing national security concerns. While there's no doubt that in certainly the Gulf Arab countries who are really looking at different ways to kind of, change their portfolios essentially away from oil, these guys are big buyers. There is plenty of domestic demand and demand across the pond for these new Blackwell chips that are coming from NVIDIA. I think this is a bit of an overreaction. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back. We're going to try to get Tim Ord on.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. It looks like we might not have Tim Orton on today. We're going to keep trying. Our producer is trying very hard, but it seems like we might be having some internet issues on the other end, but fear not, we will absolutely have him on so we can go over what he had planned today. We were talking a little bit about NVIDIA, kind of on the downside, essentially on some news that the US may bar them from selling some of the higher end chips overseas. I was of the opinion that we kind of already thought this kind of thing was going to happen. Obviously, it was going on with China. They were able to at least make some kind of concessions on that and still capture a little bit of the market. And really the question remains too, then where would they buy the chips from, right? Of course, there'll be, you could have some European countries, perhaps China in some capacity. The idea behind it is they don't want these countries necessarily sharing this with, say, like China or with Russia, which has become a national security threat. I do think this is a little bit of an overreaction in some capacity. Taking a look at ASML as well. So, again, some pretty damaging news with ASML. Let's take a look here quickly. Yeah, I mean, it's still, this is a very, I get that there's not as many shares kind of outstanding on it. It looks like it's held right now. It's kind of weird. But it's trading at 725 right now. Let's take a look here. So basically, shares in the semiconductor maker fell 15.6% after the company published disappointing sales forecasts and results a day early. ASML, obviously based in Veldhoven, said it expects net sales in 2025 to come in between 30 billion euros and 35 billion euros. Okay, so that's going to be 32.7 to 38.1 billion at the lower half of the range it had previously provided. Net bookings for September quarter were 2.6 billion euros, $2.83 billion. The company said, and that's well below the 5.6 billion euro LSEG consensus estimate. And the net sales, however, beat expectations, coming in at 7.5 billion. The CEO says, while there continue to be strong developments and upside potential in AI, other market segments are taking longer to recover, and now appears the recovery is more gradual than previously expected. That's not super great for them. The China concern for them is last month the U.S. government rolled out new export controls on critical technologies to China, including the advanced chip making tools. So this is a thing to keep in mind, right? When you're looking at things like NVIDIA or like even TSMC, right, which is a big fab. NVIDIA obviously designs the chips. They have TSMC fabricate them. ASML and how they perform, it is not going to necessarily impact things like NVIDIA and TSMC. ASML makes these lithography devices, right? They're going to be used in the foundries of things like TSMC in order to get these chips out that are designed by, say, NVIDIA. what this kind of essentially comes out to be is that the chips that are still being produced are using, older lithography techniques, right? Or just older techniques in general, or just not requiring any new development or new purchase of machinery, which is where ASML kind of comes into trouble with this. Of course, you have a massive issue, with China in a sense, but I think the demand is massively here. Now, it's kind of important, at least with ASML, to kind of talk about this a little bit. They said, so we expect China to come in at around 20% of our total revenue for the next year. That'd be an issue if they lost a lot of that. And yeah. I do think as you try to go to more advanced and like smaller chips that fit more stuff on, ASML does come back a little bit from that as more companies also kind of come out and want to open their own fabs for whatever reason that might be, and there's numerous reasons. ASML is still at the heart of this kind of lithography device. So yeah, anyways, off 16.74%. I don't feel the same way about the stock as I do NVIDIA, where I think NVIDIA is kind of more like a, buy this to the downside a little bit, whereas ASML is definitely one that I need to see perform a little bit better fundamentally. So we'll see what happens with that, no doubt. Let's shift a little bit into BYD. We can talk a little bit about BABA as well. I know some people were talking about BABA kind of collapsing a little bit today. I don't know what it's trading at right now. I just kind of, so off 5.65%. And then I believe, is BYD have the ticker on this? No, that's not it. But like Baidu, these stocks have kind of come down a little bit. This again is what I was saying early last week, is be very cautious when you're running up this high. It was running up again on this idea that you're gonna have a bunch of capital support kind of flood into China, right? To stimulate economic growth. They're going through a deflationary period. That was never a full given, I would say. And then additionally, you have a lot of Chinese guys who are kind of in at this level. You get this massive runoff, you're totally gonna get profit-taking behavior at this level. So again, be cautious, especially, and that's one of the weird pitfalls with countries like China that do these massive stimulus. We do it too as America. Like, don't get me wrong, right? I understand we have our own methods of doing this, but it gets to a point where, in countries like that, you can kind of talk about certain things. Oh, this is happening. We might figure something out, and then it gets rolled back. Usually it's pretty strong in America when we're going to have some kind of quantitative easing. That people are usually pretty right about it. So this is kind of this downturn right now, at least in some of the Chinese stocks. At least from the Baidu perspective, you're able to see even with these tariffs coming in to play in Europe against China. I mean, Baidu is able to sell some of these cars at 30,000 euros, which is actually obviously pretty accessible to a lot of people. And I think it's a bad situation for Europe car makers as well. And they specialize in this kind of stuff. I think this is a bigger issue for Germany overall, especially on the long term. I get nervous with things like Rivian, obviously still kind of down today. It seems like it's going to be pushed out for profitability, but you had a lot of movement to the upside because of Volkswagen. Essentially their investment, you could use it in that way, into Rivian, right? Helping Rivian design some of their autonomous driving, some of the software in the vehicles, and then Volkswagen will be able to use it. If Volkswagen goes through a really long period of essentially downside because of vast competition and fierce competition from Volkswagen, I think that impacts the progress of Rivian exceptionally. This company, Rivian, burns through cash, and usually I stay away from companies like that. And I'm talking like burning through like $1 billion like before you can even blink. I obviously accept pretty risky investments in some capacity, like with Palantir or like, let's say CrowdStrike or something like that. But this in particular can run some risks. So it's interesting what's happening. I just wanted to kind of address that because I saw some people, at least on YouTube, discussing some of the Chinese companies to the downside and see if we could tie it back in to something that would impact us over here as well. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
The stock market is a delicate, interconnecting web of commodities, equities, and trader psychology. When one string of the web is pulled, it has a ripple effect across the broader market. This is where opportunity lies. But how are you to gather all of this information into one cohesive model when you're already spending your energy looking for any possible trade opportunities? Luckily, you don't have to worry about that, as Tom O'Brien has brought all important market news to you in one single newsletter, Market Insights. Market Insights provides a daily overview of what's happening in the indexes, bonds, gold, and more. Follow along with Tom daily as he analyzes the components that affect the overall movement of the stock market, giving insight into how each one plays either a bullish or bearish role. Tom also analyzes specific equities that he believes has the potential to make huge returns, and his track record proves his analysis right. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Don't let the market leave you in the dust.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
What's going on, everyone? Jacob Shoup filling in for Tom O'Brien. We got a short segment here. Sorry we couldn't get Tim Ord on today. We're going to try to see if we can get him on tomorrow. That's not a promise or anything like that, but we definitely will have it working on Thursday. I had a question in the den, at least, from Jeff, looking at Lucid. He asked what I think about it. Yeah, I mean, if you've seen a few cars, that's more than I have. I have not seen any. I know they have the Lucid Air. There's some mixed kind of conversation on it. What I like about Lucid, and I kind of said this the other week, is more for like a momentum trade. I mean, this has the ability, it's very volatile. This is obviously on a daily, a year to date, but you can kind of get an idea of how this thing moves. And I mean, you can get some days where, pops up 5%, you get in early in the day, and then, you sell before it closes. That's kind of the big value, at least I see in Lucid right now. They did have a pretty solid, beat. So you talking about that a little bit. They reported third quarter deliveries of 2,781 vehicles that did exceed estimates. This marked a quarter-over-quarter increase of exceeding actually 16%, I guess, and then a year-over-year growth of 91%. Strong number came on the back of strong discounting, so that's something to keep in mind. And then production fell sequentially, declining from 2,110 in the second quarter to 1,805 in the third quarter. The company's full-year production guidance of 9,000 units requires that it builds around 3,400 for the end of the year. And I don't know if the demand's there for that. At least I can say with Rivian is I see more and more of them, and the people that I speak to they don't stop talking about them. That's something interesting. Now, that doesn't save a company from being terribly mismanaged and having its CEO sell a bunch of shares when it's on the decline, which you'd never like to see, and I'm not really sure what the logic is behind that. But let's see, I mean, you have, what, 7 billion market cap, and then I don't know what it is in Rivian, I think probably around like 12 billion or something like that. Okay, 10.8 billion, excuse me, 10.1 billion. That's what I think about Lucid. Folks, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you all have a great rest of your day. I hope you were at least short today if you were in those indices. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. with Tommy O'Brien for the morning market kickoff. Take care, stay safe. We'll see you then.